thank you for staying with us for the second talk, and for the ones who are joining us, welcome. So here, as a reminder, we just had a first talk about maybe some more theory, and in this one, we'll have a practical use case to apply everything. As usual, you have the QR code on the screen if you want to ask all your questions, and we will take again a few minutes at the end of the session to answer your question. So this is the agenda we are following. Basically, we had the first part yesterday with Emma's talk about email deliverability and outgoing emails. Then here we talk about incoming emails and the notification system. And now we are in the last part of these sessions about mailing, where we will have a practical use case. Before we dive in the practical use case, I just want to give a short summary for those who are joining us. So here we saw three different methods to receive the emails in your Odoo database when you have your custom domain. So on the left, the direct delivery, thanks to a configuration on the MX record. On the right, the pull and push method. Um, the pull and push method. The main difference was that with the pull and push method, you have to go through your mail server and then either pull or push the emails, while with the MX record, it's easier. Once the configuration is done, all the emails are sent directly to your Odoo database. So now let's dive in the configuration that we have to do for the MX configuration. As you can see in the title, you could either do it on the MX record or with a CNAME. First, I will talk about the CNAME. So here we are doing the configuration in OVH. If you are creating a CNAME, it would look like this. Basically, what is it saying? We are saying that we are using exactly the same configuration that are done on maywonderland.odoo.com, which is the database that we created. The advantage of the CNAME, as I said, we are basically copying the configuration of the DNS maywonderland.odoo.com, meaning that it already includes the SPF of Odoo. So you don't have to add this record by yourself in your DNS. On the other hand, the disadvantage is that you won't be able to add other SPF records with the CNAME configuration. So that's why we won't use this configuration in our case. We will look at the MX. Why? Because we will show you how to configure an outgoing mail server for the mass mailing and another one for Odoo transactional email. So if you have several email server and that you are not able to add an SPF record, you will have an issue. As a reminder, both for CNAME or MX, you will have to use the subdomain again because on the Odoo portal, you won't be able to use your naked domain. So this is the MX record that we will use in our configuration. Again, on OVH, the record really looks like this. And don't forget that in this case, you have to configure the SPF and the DKIM. It will look like you have here on the screen. And you can notice that we don't have only an include for odoo.com, but we also have an include for mailjet.com. That's because Mailjet is the outgoing server that we will use for our mass mailing. If you want really more detailed information about SPF and DKIM, you can come back to Emma's talk, and also Baptiste will show you a demo right after that. The last configuration that you have to do on Odoo site, it will depend if you are on Odoo Online, so on SaaS, or if you are on Odoo SH. If you are on SaaS, you will have to go on your odoo.com portal. You can just access the list of all your databases, and you can simply add right there your subdomain. If you're on SH, it's a bit different, but it's also really easy. This time you will have to go on your production branch. You will have a tab settings, and you will have this parameter custom domain, and you just have to again to add this subdomain. So now that we saw the theory, maybe Baptiste, you can show us how we could do this configuration directly in OVH.
Okay, so for OVH, I will start from the beginning. So I will just use the Emma's domain in order to avoid breaking hours. And this is simply the OVH interface. So I'm going into my domain, and I will modify my DNS zone. In here, I already configure everything, but I will remove and show you everything after. So I have my two SPF records in here, which are on a TXT record. I will invite you, if you don't know all the concept, to search about them on the internet. Everything is very documented. I have my DKIM for Odoo. I will explain after also. And we have the DKIM of Mailjet, which is in here, Mailjet domain key. Okay. If I want to double check that everything is properly configured, I could simply take my domain, go into MX Toolbox, Emma talk about these features, this website, which is simply a very nice tool, helpful tool to help you understand what went wrong or if your configuration is wrongly made. So I have my SPF in here, I have my DKIM in here. So I'm checking my subdomain at Odoo. As we already said it, but I will remember it. You need to have a subdomain because otherwise you won't be able to put it on the portal. I'm checking my record in here. Do the same for the DKIM with the selector Odoo. So that's for all mail server. I see that I have indeed my include odoo.com and my include SPF. Okay, my Mailjet SPF. Sorry. So this one is not properly configured. Should be. We'll do it after. No big deal. And if I want to check the Mailjet one, in here I have it. Probably small bag, whatever. I remove these three and then I will create them again. So right now, if I was sending an email with this domain, it will highly probably end up in spam or not be delivered at all. I won't test it because, well, it doesn't make any sense. But that's why we really insist on the need of those configuration. Okay. Not everything that I need to do in here, but I mean everything is very well documented on internet. So for example, for the Mailjet, to set up the SPF of Mailjet, I will do simply SPF Mailjet, and it's the first link. This website explains me everything I need to know to configure it. If I go there, it just simply tell me, well, you need to include your Mailjet like this, your SPF Mailjet like this, and if you have another include, well, you just merge them together. Okay. We have the same in here for the DKIM. They explain you how to retrieve your key and how to add it in your domain name. Okay. So let's come back, not this one, into OVH. I will then create, well, the Odoo's ones and the Mailjet ones. So I will take the value that I need and I will create it in OVH. I'm creating a text record. I won't use the SPF, it's more complex and, well, I know what I'm doing, so it's not a big deal. And I need to put all the value with the double quote. Thank you. The version of the SPF needs to be set and all the other information they include. And if you want information about the tilde, you can use the tilde, the minus, the plus. I will send you to the Emma store because she explained a little bit more. And again, everything is very well documented on internet. So right now, I just created my SPF for Mailjet and Odoo. I will then create a new one for the DKIM. Okay, the DKIM of Mailjet. You can go again exactly as I show you. There is all the documentation you need about it. On the same page, a little bit down, how to retrieve your key. I won't show it in here, it's really easy. You go into Mailjet in your settings, and you have add SPF and DKIM.
SPF and DKIM, you have both.
I think it's relatively easy. So in here, I have my value pre-configured. I extract them before, so I just need to have this. The mail key. As I'm using a subdomain, I need to specify it in here because my subdomain is mail.mbr-work.com. Okay, so I need to specify it in here. If you don't use Odoo or anything, probably you won't see this because you can use your naked domain, but not in our case. Okay. Then the value, already have it in here. I also need to have the double quote. I won't talk about the TTL, but the TTL is simply well, I won't go into detail. If you want more information, I will invite you to have a look on internet. So again, it looks like this. I have my public key and every information that will be needed for the mail server to be able to ensure that the mail has not been altered while being transferred. I think Emma explained very well this on the talk. So I created this one, everything agree. Okay. If now I'm going into Odoo and I want to set up this DKIM, we already had all the documentation. We have the SPF in here. We have the DKIM in here. And what they say in here is to enable DKIM, just simply add a CNAME record that is pointing to the Odoo's one. Okay. I will voluntarily make it fail because there is like a few limitations that are totally correct. So I'll create it like this, and they told me you just need to add this key to retrieve the Odoo ones. Okay. Back. And if I do this, I will have an error saying there is an incompatibility issue. Okay. It's not a big deal because what asyname is simply check the value that has been set on the Odoo's domain key with the selector Odoo. Okay. So what I will simply, very simply do is getting the key of Odoo. If I'm checking in here with the selector Odoo, I will retrieve my key. I copy paste it. I will create my new entry as a txt record, adding I need the full value, the value which is this one, okay, with the selector that is set in the front, and my value in here. So everything in here is properly configured. You have your SPF, include Mailjet and Odoo. You can have a lot of them. Just note that there is a limitation defined on the RFC. I think it's like 12 include or something. We have our private key, public key, sorry, with the algorithm used to encrypt the mail and to check if it's the correct one, and the one from Odoo. Okay, so like this, you have everything configured for the demonstration that Quentin will show you right now.
So thank you, Baptiste. Now what I want to show you is the configuration we told you about just before. So it's a configuration where you will be able to have your custom mail server, so here in our case Mailjet, that will be used for your mass mailing, so basically mainly the email marketing app. And then on the other side, you will have all your transactional mailing sent with your Odoo default mail server. So let's dive directly in the database, which is here. So what I want to do here, I know that I receive a new lead in my pipe. So I will just create it. To the name of the lead.
Ceci est un.
Okay, this one. I will just add it here, and basically I just want to send a regular message to my customer. So this is just a transactional mailing. Hello. How can I help you? I will send it. And now I also have another mailing to send, but this time it's a mass mailing that I want to send. We have a really awesome colleague who helped us a lot, so we need to send this mailing to all our contacts. I will just send it here through the email marketing app. Okay, it's done. Note that for the email marketing, all the emails will be put in a queue and they will be processed thanks to a cron. So here, just for the demonstration, I will trigger it manually in order to send it directly. So it's this one, mail marketing process queue, and we will just run it. Okay, so normally if I go back on my email marketing, this one should now be sent. So let's check in our mailbox if we have anything. Yeah, the internet is not the best here. We can already see that I have two. Okay. Thank you, Gmail.
Great.
Great.
So you can see
fine,
that we have the
it's
email.
fine.
So yeah.
So all the emails are here. So the first one here is just the transactional email that I sent to my customer. So you can say that it was sent through the regular email server with the domain that we configured. And then if you have a look at the other one, so this is the mass mailing, and you can see that it's not the same email server who was used. It's here directly Mailjet that we used. So let's now go back in the database to see which configuration did that. So I had to configure my outgoing mail server, so it's accessible in the settings technical menu and outgoing mail server. And you can see that I have two of them. The first one is the Odoo server CLI, so it's basically the basic Odoo server. Emma explained what is the CLI, but normally it's not by default yet, but it should be by default
It
in
will
the
be by
future.
default. So just to remind, the command line interface is the command that start the Odoo database. So as a SaaS and SH customer, you don't have the possibility to modify it, but you have the possibility, if you're on premise, to add parameters. It's dash dash SMTP, and then you need the port, you need the configuration. I can show you quickly
Yeah, sure.
if you want to command line interface Odoo. You have in our documentation everything explaining what you need. And this mail server exactly is just using the Odoo's mail server that is defined on the command that is starting the Odoo database. So in here it will be all mail server. So if I'm Control F on SMTP, Control F, I will have all the parameter in order to send to put one mail server using the command line interface.
Yeah, thank you. And so here basically this should be, it will be by default on your Odoo database. The only thing that we had to change on our side is here the from filtering. Since we are using our custom domain name, we had to put our custom subdomain here actually. So that's for the first one, and then for the second one we have the mailjet that is configured also on OVH. I won't go into details into this configuration, but basically you have to use username and all the information you see here, the SMTP server, SMT port, username and password. These are all information that you can find on your Mailjet portal. The other thing that you can notice also is that here I have a priority of 11 on the Mailjet, and on the CLI I have a priority of 10. So it means that this one has a higher priority, and I will use it before trying to use the Mailjet one. So that's why my transactional mailing is sent with the Odoo server. But why is my mass mailing sent with Mailjet? This is actually really easy. You just have to go in the settings in your mail marketing app. And here you will have to check this box, dedicated server, and then right there you can choose the mail server you want to use by default for your mass mailing. And this is something, an information that you can also see on the mailing that you sent. If I go back here in the settings of my mailing, you will see that the mail server used was the Mailjet one. So with this configuration, you will be able to split transactional and mass mailing. And now maybe Baptiste, you can show us a little bit how works the multi-domain management.
Thank you. So as we explained, I need to be in a multi-company environment. Okay. And so right now, if I'm going into my settings, and I can search for it, domain, I will have my alias domain with this icon saying that it's now company specific. I use for my personal company, well, simply the subdomain that is used by Odoo by default. Okay. And if I switch company, I will see that I now have another one. You can change it. You can do, you can create new one. You can, every time you create a company, you can. It's very easy to configure. You just need to go there and it will be created by default. If I'm going into the company right now, I will see my two company, and if I click on them and I'm on debug, I will see the domain used, the bonds, the catch-all, and the default from, the notification version. And the same stories goes with the other company. Okay. What has been introduced is this new domain called alias domain. You need to be in debug again to be able to see it. So settings, technical, email, alias domain. And in here, I have my two domain name with their corresponding bonds, so the local part, the catch-all, and the notification. Okay. If you want to change this, you can, but I always advise not to do, and mainly not when you're in production, because you might lose email on the way. Okay. If I'm clicking on this one, for example, I see that I have one company in here for this domain. It's as simple as that. Functionally speaking, it's very simple, but technically, I think it was a nightmare. If I'm going now into the aliases, I will see also this new column saying that, well, this info, so this local part is linked to this domain, and it will create record with those default value. So as you see, the team ID is different. Why? Because there is one team ID by company. As simple as that. So I think that's it. There is not much to show for the multi-domain, multi-company because it's really easy to configure. I think the main point is when you do this, ensure that you are SPF and DKIM compliant, and everything will work like directly.
Yeah.
So that's it for today. Well, we remain available for the Q&A, for 5 minutes of Q&A. But again, if you have questions, come this afternoon and we can discuss it at the booth. Okay? Thank you very much. How to prevent unwanted followers on objects. How to see best who is follower in the moment I send a message. If you open the composer, you will see it. So if, for example, I'm going into any record, it's another tab. Well, in here, I don't have much followers because, well, I don't have a lot of things. But if you click in here, you see your followers, okay? But if you open this composer, the full composer, and you will see all the followers of this and all the other recipients. It's important to note that every email that is sent from Odoo will be sent to all followers, depending on the configuration for every followers. Okay. So if I uncheck discussion, he won't receive any message. But if I check not, he will receive the log note also as a mail. Okay. We just don't send the email to the sender. So I'm connected as Mitchell admin. It doesn't make any sense to send this email also to Mitchell admin. Okay. What is the use? Yes, I guess the use of external mail server. Well, it's, as people said on the previous talk, there is a limitation on Odoo's mail server. Why? We need to put a limitation because if people send too much mass mailing spam, I would say, we risk the blacklist of our mail server. And if we get blacklisted, well, it means simply that all the emails that are going through our mail server and that are sent to the customer will be impacted. So it's impacting. Why? Because, well, you also send invoices, sale order, and you don't want them to not be received or to be received in the spam. So we need to keep a very good reputation on our mail server. And that's why we put this limitation. Again, we are not against discussing the increase of mail. I will just, when you send an email to the ticket to the support, they always check if you have done correctly your SPF and your DKIM configuration and what are the use of your mail. If they say that you use a lot mass mailing and email marketing, they will tell you I probably use another outgoing mail server.
I think the point here is it's better to use the Odoo default mail server because it's easier. Basically, you don't have anything to configure, and as soon as you're starting to do mass mailing, then you will have to switch for an external mail server.
For the two next question, I'm sorry, but we don't have all the answer about Outlook. It's really hard. We managed to have Outlook working in Odoo, but it's still not something we advise. Why? Because Outlook has a lot of limitation, and we cannot use their mail server, for example, as SMTP server easily. You can, but it's always with limitation. Like, for example, those token history. And I don't think, I need to discuss it with the R&D, but I think we already had a look, and I don't think it's possible to refresh, for example, this token automatically. Or maybe it was bug fixed. I'm not totally sure about this. I can check after if you come to the booth.
Are mails now shown properly with the correct domain name in multi-company setup, each with their other domain? Reply, yeah. So yeah,
yes,
as you said, that's what we showed. That's the goal of this new feature. So yeah, indeed, now if you configure a domain on each company, you will have the right domain, considering the company you are on for the moment.
So for example, on every email you received, you will see the from. It's coming from the domain of Odoo, or the one that you configure in the database. The reply to will come back also to the correct alias with the correct domain. I think we still have time for just one question.
Last one. For on-premise, what is the preferred way to integrate when the standard domain is handled by Google Workspace Gmail? Still set up a mail subdomain for the alias, or set it up so aliases are forwarded. This one is for you if you have the answer.
What is the preferred way to integrate with the standard domain? I'm not sure to understand the question. Come back to the booth and show
Yeah,
me. Maybe I can help you. Which bot? Yes, it will be the marketing booth in the all seven. So you go to the all seven, which on the right,
on the right
and
side.
you go at the
Yeah, it's
tip end, and then we will
okay.
be there. We have a few team, and we will be there from one to
Two,
three.
three or something like that. Yeah.
Um,
So that's it.
yeah.
We are
Yeah.
running out of time. So thank you guys for your attention.